Hey guys, it's Courtney AKA Travel Teach coming at you with quite a different video today about how a Harvard professor influenced what I think about PalFish and the future of online education. Are you ready? Here we go. So as some of you know, I'm a teacher here in China and I teach at a local public high school in the international department. And so I'm always looking for things that I can relate for my students about living in China and living abroad, how they're different, how they're the same, and especially since I'm an American, about the relationship between China and America. So last week I found this video, this TED video. I love using TED videos in my classroom about China and America and whether or not they're going to go to war. For me, this was total clickbait. I mean, China and America at war? Who's talking about this? And how did that kind of topic become a TED Talk? There's a Harvard professor who's also a political scientist and is quite famous in America named Graham Allison. And he actually has done a lot of research about wars between two different countries, how they start, whether two countries, when they're rising for power, whether they go to war or not. And in this video, he was sharing about the dynamic and the rivalry between China and America right now. In his TED video, he talks about the rise of China and its impact on the global society, but especially on American society. You know, growing up in America, I remember hearing, USA is number one, we can't be defeated, we can't be touched. But in reality, right now, China is definitely becoming a huge rival for the United States in this department. Inside this TED video, the most interesting part to me at the beginning, and my biggest takeaway, was the pyramid of poverty that Allison talks about. So the pyramid of poverty, what's that? In China, 40 years ago, when they were entering the market in 1978, the level of poverty in China was crazy. It was ridiculous. Most people in China, 90% of people in China, were living on less than $2 a day. So here we are, 2018, now less than 1% of people in China are living on less than $2 a day. Why is this an interesting takeaway for me? Okay, so a lot of us are concerned about when we're teaching students about the culture. For example, we see parents asking for discounts. We see parents that maybe don't have the same types of behavior that we have in America, such as, not caring about teachers seeing a child without their clothes on or in the background, being very open about that. One thing here in China that's been really interesting for me is to realize the toilet situation and also the eating situation when I'm around Chinese people. So toilets here are not nearly as sanitary. Actually, China is revolutionizing the toilets, but where I live in Zhengzhou, going to a public toilet is not like asking to use the bathroom in a department store or in Walmart in America. It's a very different place that might not seem anywhere near sanitary for lots of Americans. It's definitely a place that I avoid if at all possible. Another thing is the eating situation here. Culturally, Chinese people make a lot more noise when they're eating. Outside of being judgmental about this, I really did want to learn, why is this? In America, when I grew up, I was taught if you talk with your mouth full, you're gonna get in trouble or you're not gonna be able to eat dessert. And eating carefully, eating quietly, eating neatly, and not leaving food around you is a really big thing. We have placemats, right? Placemats are something I totally grew up with. So this has been really interesting. And one of my friends here actually told me that one of the reasons why maybe people make more noises with their mouths when they eat dates back to the Cultural Revolution here in China. So This has been something that's really interesting for me to learn, because when you make these kind of utterances with your mouth while you're eating, you can feel more full. And this can come back to the times when China was totally in complete and total poverty, with 90% of its people living on less than $2 a day. They don't have food to eat. They're starving. So they make some utterances with their mouth in order to feel more full. This becomes a thing that gets carried down over generations. If you see your grandparents do something, or if you see your parents do something, it's very likely that you will also do it in your life as well. So hearing about this rise of no more poverty was very interesting to me, because on PalFish, I think that we can make a good connection with this as to see why there are so many students from different backgrounds, why they're from different cultures even. You know, inside of China, yes, unity is a huge thing, and culturally they would like to be homogeneous, but we are going to see the different levels of people who were raised maybe in the recent coming out of poverty stages, or the earlier coming out of poverty stages. So our students are going to be a total mix, especially if you get students who are living in Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou. These kind of students are probably the students who have earlier gotten out of this extreme poverty. Another thing that was totally interesting for me about Allison's video is that Allison talks about the differences in renovating a bridge in America and renovating a bridge in China. So he talks about in America that there was a goal set, and the goal was 2 years to build the bridge. And after 2 years, they said, oh, it's not going to be finished until next year. And then the next year they said, oh, we're not sure when it's going to be finished. And whenever it was finished, it went way over budget. But then he compares it to a bridge in Beijing, the San Yuan Bridge in Beijing. And he asked the audience to guess how many months, or how long actually it took to build this bridge. So the audience guesses, you know, like 2 months, 3 months, and you're thinking, wow, that's like a really quick time to build a bridge. And then he shows the video that the bridge was actually made in 43 hours. 43 hours. I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day, but this bridge was built in less than 2. It's unbelievable to me. Later in the video, he talks about one more takeaway that I would like to mention, and that is the rise of China's influence on the global economy and on global innovation. The president of China has said that by 2025 that he would like to be leading technology in China amongst the global market in 10 different categories, including artificial intelligence and other digital innovations as well. So this is really a place where I can draw back to understanding why PalFish is doing some of the things that it's doing, especially with AR. I think its connection with AR in the classroom is really cool. And it's showing that it is also one of the leading technological online English schools, in that it cares about keeping up with the technology. So here I can now understand, why are these technological things more important, and why should we tell, you know, other parents or other schools about our AR. Here, the fact that we have AR is a huge advantage over the other online English companies, because it shows that we are in line with the Chinese president's goals for the future of China. And the Chinese president also said by 2035 that he would like to be leading in all global innovative technologies. So these are really things that we should consider in our classroom, because of the way that we are teaching and the students who we are teaching. We are teaching these students how to become more technologically capable. In fact, in my high school, there are some students still who don't know how to use things like Microsoft Word or Microsoft PowerPoint. It's crazy, right? I mean, I grew up, I'm young. I was born in the 90s. But I will say I grew up learning how to do these things, and to have students who are 10 years or more younger than I am who don't know how to do these things is really crazy to me. We are instilling something that's really cool as far as digital things go in China, because we are instilling and in line with the Chinese president's idea of what China will be like in the future as far as innovative technology goes. And I think that as PalFish grows and becomes a more digitally advanced company, that we're only going to see further advancements like this. And I think that's great that PalFish is totally in line with this. Some of the other platforms aren't. I think that's why they're still using servers which are not their own, and maybe other digital things that are not from them specifically. So here, guys, the main point of this video I want to make is that I think it's super cool that I can see things mentioned by a Harvard professor in PalFish. I mean, how crazy that you're able to relate and to see what PalFish is doing and compare it to what China is doing on its global market. I think this is great. And this is another reason to join PalFish. If you liked this video, or if you would like to tell me anything more, or you want to see the TED video that I mentioned in this video, please look below and give me a like, give me a comment, subscribe to my channel. I'll have more great content coming at you guys soon. All right, have a good one. See you later.